Hey y'all, it's your girl Simone, and welcome to my podcast. This has been a long time coming. Like, I've been wanting to podcast not my entire life, but I've been wanting to podcast like the last 2 or 3 years. I've just never got into it. I don't know what I want to call it because every name that I have isn't original enough. It's already a thing. It's already on YouTube, unfortunately. I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. I'm sorry, I'm looking at me because I look so good. But yeah, every name I come up with, it's not original enough for YouTube because everybody already has the name. As you can see, I'm not giving the Grinch who stole Christmas. I'm giving Auntie who gave Christmas. So that's what I'm giving. Yeah, we ain't got no sunlight in here, but I got the glasses on. Anyway, I was finna put them on, but I know that'll piss a lot of people off. And low-key, it will kind of piss me off too because it's like, girl, ain't no sunlight in here. So what are you doing? So yeah. They're just for aesthetics. Anyway, so on today's episode, we will be discussing my relationship with being a low maintenance black girl and how I want to transform that into being a high maintenance black girl. So let's take it back to childhood. Don't we love doing that? It always ties back to childhood. When I was a kid, I was the oldest child in my mother's circle. And growing up, like, this is no shade, no tea to my mama because me and my mama been through some stuff, but now we're working on healing it. So this is no shade, no tea to her. I'm just telling my truth because you can't get the story without having the truth. So I was taught hygiene, but I wasn't taught self-care. You know, she taught me to brush my teeth. She taught me to wash my face. She taught me to take a bath. She taught me to put up my clothes when I get home and whatnot. She taught me those things. But in terms of like self-care, I never was taught that. So I was taught like hygiene, but I wasn't taught self-care. So I didn't know what that was. And I guess like the same applies for my mom. Like she can't teach me something that she wasn't taught. The most she would do for self-care is like her feet. My mom, she didn't get her hair done. My mom, she didn't really get her nails done. She was a low maintenance black woman as well. So how can you teach something that you weren't taught? You know? And my grandmother, she didn't teach my mother because my grandma wasn't taught that. My grandma was like the youngest out of like 4 or 5 kids. And back in her time, nobody was thinking about self-care. It was all about working in order to find your way and maintain financial stability for your family. Like, I'm not upset at anybody for not teaching me that because they weren't taught that. So since they weren't taught that, I had to teach that to myself. Like I was saying, like my mom, she never did her hair. Like she wouldn't walk around like, you know, looking like Boo the Fool and whatnot, but she just never got her hair done. She wasn't the mother to get her hair done. She bought wigs and stuff and she would do them herself. She would dye them herself and they would look good, you know what I mean? But she would never go out and get them done. She would never pay money to get them done. She would rarely ever pay to get her nails done. Like I said, the most that she would do is her feet. So, you know, me as a kid, I'm not being taught that, so I'm not thinking about that. So my freshman year of high school is kind of when I really realized like I don't really know how to take care of myself, but I wasn't like thinking about it in that light. When I was a freshman, I played volleyball. And when I was a freshman, I went to a predominantly white school. I'm going to give you my like accounts as a little black girl trying to navigate her way through like an all white school. When I was playing volleyball, like we would go to the locker room. Like all the white girls, like they would put their hair up in a ponytail, you know, they would put their lotion on, they would put their perfume on and stuff like that. And you know, I know how to put on lotion and perfume and stuff too. But like I would see them like doing their hair and stuff. And I was like, well, I can't really do my hair because my hair's already done. You know, so it's just like, I mean, that wasn't like a major thing, but it was like a thought in my head, you know, like I'm seeing all these white girls like get cute for their next class, like do their makeup, do their hair, talk about which boys like them and who's looking at them and stuff like that. But me, I was just like, I was not that girl because nobody sees the vision when you're young and black. Nobody sees the vision until you elevate and turn into a teenager or a young adult. That's when folks start seeing the vision for real. Didn't nobody see the vision with me when I was a freshman. But anyway, so now like going on to sophomore year, I wasn't really thinking about self-care like that. You know, even in my freshman year, I wasn't really thinking about it like that. But that's when I started kind of stepping into like who I was in terms of like my clothes and my aesthetic. And this is going to sound so cliche, but I don't feel like I fit into like a little box or a category that I can categorize myself in terms of anything. Like in terms of music I listen to, in terms of movie and television, in terms of like clothes I wear. But yeah, sophomore year, I wasn't too much thinking about it. I was really thinking about like being Mrs. Put It On. You know, I was Mrs. Put It On. But really in my junior years when I really started stepping into like my character and character development and like who I was and who I wanted to be in terms of like clothing and stuff like that. But again, I'm talking about clothing, but I still wasn't thinking about like self-care and hygiene. Like I wasn't doing those things. I was taking showers, brushing my teeth and washing my face, but I wasn't like taking the extra time to get my nails done. I wasn't going to the spa and getting facial. Like I wasn't doing that. And some people that I went to school with did do those things. Like they would get their nails done actively. They would get their hair done actively. They would, you know, just do little things that build up, that make them feel good, that the average person would probably be like, well, why are you wasting your money on that? They were doing those things and it was like, I wasn't. But again, I wasn't thinking about that. Senior year, still wasn't thinking about that. But that's when I started to notice that a lot of the black girls that I see on social media, they would get their hair done like every month. They wouldn't keep it in for longer than 2 or 3 weeks. They would always have their nails done. They would always have new outfits, new shoes, new purses, new whatever. And they were always doing different things, but I felt like I was never doing those things. And that's kind of when like the awareness started to build, like, oh, like I'm a low maintenance person. You know what I mean? I didn't think that verbatim, but that's when like I started being like fully aware, like, oh, I'm not like the girls who care, you know? Like, I'm not saying that I don't care about myself, but I don't in a sense, like I don't care about myself in terms of self-care. Boom. Fast forward 2023. This is the now. This is speaking on now. That was like the backstory, blah, blah, side story, whatever you would call it. But this is the now. So recently I had a conversation with one of my 25-year-old coworkers. Shout out to her. And I was just really telling her that I've always felt like a low maintenance person. Because I seen a TikTok of this one black girl. She was talking about how she was a low maintenance person. And I was like, low maintenance really defines who I am as a person. That kind of like was the catalyst of me thinking these thoughts and piecing the past together up into my now. When I was talking to her, I was talking about how like when I was in high school, I would get my hair done and I would leave my hair in for a while. But there were other girls who would get their hair done and they would get their hair changed pretty frequently in comparison to me. I wouldn't really get my nails done because the job that I work, every job that I work, my nails wound up breaking. So I just was kind of like, fuck that. I'm done getting my shit done. I would never do my feet ever. I never started doing my feet until 2023 or 2022, 2023. I never did my feet ever. Because every time I did my feet, like I would paint them and I would forget about them. And then like the nail polish would chip. And I hated like the way the nail polish would look like chipped on my feet. So I would just leave my feet alone. I wouldn't even paint them. So like I would never do my feet. And then like in terms of skincare, what even is that? Didn't have a routine because I've suffered with acne my entire life. So with that being said, like my confidence in terms of my skin appearance was always pretty low. Like I have good skin. Like I have a good grade of skin. You know, the skin is skinning, but the acne is also acneing. So I was just like kind of bummed out about that. Like everybody was doing these skincare routines and I shit you not, every item in Walmart in the skincare section I have purchased in an attempt to get rid of my acne and nothing has worked for me. I just said, F the skincare, like boom. So there's that, you know. I would just get into how like I've just came to the realization that I've just been a low maintenance black girl my entire life. But I feel like I definitely deserve better. You know, there's nothing wrong with being low maintenance if that's your prerogative. But the reason that I was low maintenance is because a lack of teaching. But now that I understand and now that I'm aware of it, I don't want to be a low maintenance black girl. Like I want to feel good. I want to be cute and whatever. Like I'm all that in a bag of chips. Don't get me wrong, but I want to do it intentionally. I want to actively partake in being a high maintenance black woman. Like, and I don't even have to be high to the utmost extent. Just like, I just want to be productive in like my self-care. It doesn't even have to be high maintenance. It's just productivity in my self-care because I never had that. So I want to build that routine. Why am I low maintenance? Why am I low maintenance? I know I'm low maintenance, so let's just get into it. So growing up, we was never broke. Money was never a problem, but we weren't rich, you know? My mama just was lucky that she had my grandmother and my grandfather to help her provide for her 3 children. Because my mom had a boyfriend, but we're not even going to talk about him. We'll talk about him another day. But my mother worked, and she worked her ass off. She always was working, you know? And that was part of the problem. She was always working, so we never really spent time together. And then the time that she did have, she was working, so she was exhausted. I get it now that I'm an adult. She was exhausted, so she was chilling when she could. As I digress, my mother had my grandma and my grandpa to rely on if she didn't have it. Now, she wouldn't go into them for her every need, but if they noticed that she was slacking here or there, or if she asked, they would give. With that being said, money was never a problem, but it was never in abundance. Ooh, a word. Money was never a problem, but it was never in abundance. So growing up, being the oldest and already having this like kind of heightened sense of awareness and heightened sense of consciousness, like I'm already seeing what my mother is doing to keep food on the table and to keep her finances in check. Like, of course, I don't understand everything and I don't have the exact terminology to put it on, but I'm seeing what it is that she's doing. I guess I kind of took on a frugal mentality, and I'm the most frugal, freaky in the world. Trust when I tell you I'm the most frugal being on the planet. I'm not even gonna say cheap. It can sometimes come off as cheap, I'll give you that, but frugal is me. I am frugal. If you look up frugal in the dictionary, picture me. I just adopted like a frugality mindset, so I also feel like that plays into why like my self-care has always just been F tier. I just adopted this mindset and this mentality unknowingly because that's what I was seeing as a kid. So it just kind of manifested into like my own personal life. Let me give y'all an example. Whenever I go to Walmart, because I'm a Walmart girl. I'm not a Target girl. I'm not a Whole Foods girl. I'm a Walmart girl. Yeah, that's how real it is in these streets. I'm a Walmart girl. They treat their employees like shit, but I'm a Walmart, and there's nothing wrong with that. So Walmart has a few different brands, but the two that I'm aware of is Equate and Great Value. It's just an off brand. It's just their own personal accompanying brand to their company. I've always been a Great Value, Equate kind of girl. I remember when I first like seen the brand Equate and Great Value, and I think it was like with some Oreos. It was like Great Value Oreos, and I was like, oh my god, these look like real Oreos. Like, oh my god, and it almost tastes like an actual Oreo. Like, what the fuck? So that was like my first real like encounter with like off-brand shit. And I remember like some paper towels being off-brand too. Anyway, I've always been the type of girl that if there's a brand and there's a knockoff, fuck the brand, I'm getting the knockoff. And that's just me. That's just how I've always been. I'm trying to kind of break out of that habit because I read somewhere if you don't buy it nice, you buy it twice. And since I'm frugal, why pay for it 2 times? And I was also told sometimes being cheap will cost you. So I'm trying to work on my relationship with my finances. Just the frugality mindset that I've adopted also kind of played into my lack of self-care because it was like I never seen other women in my life spend money on feeling good, spend money on feeling pretty, spend money on feeling nice, spend money on the things that they want to spend them on. I've just always seen the women in my life spend money on necessities and try to spend a little here wherever they can. You know what I mean? Like my grandma, shout out to her. I love that lady. She's always been a provider for everybody, which I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but it's definitely not a good thing depending on the person. But she's always been like a provider. She's like the matriarch of the family. So she's always been there for other people. And same with my mom. Like she hasn't been there for everybody because she keeps her circle small and her circle tight. So she's always there for her kids in a sense. You know what I mean? So like all her money always goes to her kids. All my grandma's money goes to everybody else. All my mom's money goes to her kids. So seeing those patterns is just kind of like, what even is self-care? That's just kind of a little background as to why like I have that mindset. I'm still trying to work my way out of that, but yeah. How do we define self-care? How do we define high maintenance? And as I was like telling my story, telling my testimony, I was realizing that high maintenance isn't the word that I'm looking for. Because I don't necessarily want or have a need or have a desire to be high maintenance or live the lavishest of lavishly lifestyle. That didn't make any sense. But I don't have that desire. I just want to care for myself. Because I don't care about me. Like I literally don't. And it's a problem. It's an issue. As I aforementioned, period. Look at me using words. Look at me using words. As I mentioned earlier though, like when I was talking to my 25-year-old coworker, she basically told me that like, I get it. I understand because she's undergoing some stuff of her own. She was telling me that basically she had to come to realization with that as well. Because growing up, said her people pretty much just told her that like, you always got to look presentable. And I was always told that too. But like, as you get older, things change, people change, feelings change too. Never thought the circumstances would have changed you. Amen. So I kind of, said that. Like, I just kind of stopped, trying to be presentable. I just kind of stopped playing into respectability politics in the sense I just stopped really caring. And it was really when COVID hit when I stopped giving a f. That's another topic for another discussion because COVID shifted a lot for a lot of people. But she basically told me that she was always told to just be presentable. And she was just getting into how she likes her hair a certain way. She likes her eyebrows a certain way. She likes her clothes a certain way. But I mentioned that I'm the same way. But doing the work that we do, we cannot be that way. I was trying to get deep, but it's just simple as that. We can't be that way all the time. Because I told her, I said, I'm Mrs. Put It On. Like, I like to get dressed. I like to wear clothes. And she was like, yeah, me too. Like, exactly. In terms of grooming, of course, we're going to be presentable. But, like, I just mentioned that doing the work that we do, we can't dress up for work. So that kind of plays into my confidence. And it kind of is like a morale killer. Because, like, whenever I put on these clothes, I'm not saying your clothes define you, but they define me. That's kind of like how I speak. I don't do too much talking to those that I don't know because the fit speaks for itself. You dig? So if I can't express myself with one of the only ways that I'm good at, it's going to kill my confidence in a sense. And that's pretty much what we were talking about. She was like, and I agree because I like shoes, I like clothes, I like doing the whole nine too. But being here, you just can't. And even if you try, your shit gonna get fucked up. Because she told me one time she wore her nice pants to work and she ripped it. Within that conversation, she was just basically telling me that, like, she didn't say you have to do better, but she was like, you just have to find the time. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to make time for yourself. And I was like, amen. Like, I make time for everybody. I make time for capitalism. I make time for greed, laziness, procrastination, and dopamine, but where's the time for myself? Yeah, I haven't made any. And it's no fault but my own, but it's like a learning experience. It's nothing like to feel bad about. I'm glad I grasped it while I'm 19 and it didn't take all my life to get to this point of understanding, because if it took that long, then who knows where I'd be. That's not a shot to late bloomers or nothing like that, but it's just like, I'm just personally glad that I gained that understanding now. So where do we move from here? I've been taking it day by day. Ever since I had that conversation with her, I've been doing little things to kind of like build myself up. I've been taking little small steps, to build like a routine, because she was also telling me that routine is everything. And I was telling her that, like, I got some stuff going on up here. So it's like hard for me to build routines and maintain like stability and structure. And I have like commitment issues. So it's hard for me to stay committed to one thing. She said the first step, I'm already doing good because I'm 19 and I recognize it. And it takes some people years to get to this point. So she's like, you already got the first step, but the next step, you just got to try to implement the little small things that you can do to make yourself feel good, that you can do to build your confidence, that you can do to just make you feel like that bitch, So that's what I've been doing ever since then. Like, I've been waking up in the morning, brushing my teeth, hopping in the shower, out of the face routine. Like, I went to Marshall the other day. I got me some skincare products. Like I said, I gave up on that a while ago because I was just kind of like down and I just felt like I wasn't getting it. Like, the skin wasn't skinning no more. So I just gave up, said fuck it. But I'm back on my bullshit. Shout out Janae Aiko. Back up on my bullshit. I'm just trying to take those steps because I only get one life, so I gotta live it. Like, if I don't take care of me, who the fuck will? Nobody. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Hey y'all, so unfortunately my audio cut out, and I don't know why my camera does that, or I don't know why my microphone does that. Like, it'll just cut out like mid video. But fortunately, we made it to the end. There's really nothing super important that was left out. I was just pretty much saying, yeah, you just gotta instill those routines. You gotta build those building blocks, take those small steps towards growth, because that's all life is about, progression. Sometimes you fall, but you better get that ass right back the fuck up. Hell is you talk about. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just end it up real quick. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Don't know what it will be, but you'll see it eventually. You can follow me on these social medias. Hey guys, so just that fast, I forgot that I was also going to upload this as an audio podcast along as a video podcast. So for those of you who are just listening, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Sincerely Simone. SincerelySimone. No spaces, no underscores, no none of that. So you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Sincerely Simone. And you can follow me on Twitter at Simone Kylee. I'm not as active on Twitter as I used to be, but if y'all get it bumping, I'll definitely go back on there. But yeah, those are my social medias that y'all can go ahead and follow me on. My boyfriend got me these little jars of positivity, and I was gonna start like each video with them. I think that's what I'm gonna do from here on out. But since I didn't start the video with it, we can end the video with it. So here's another one. It says, happiness is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to deal with them. Steve Maraboli. Period. Do with that as you will. I'm just the messenger. Hope it resonates. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.